Do you ever wake up feeling like you just didn't get enough sleep, even after a full night in bed? Perhaps that mid-morning slump hits you harder than it used to. What if I told you the culprit might not be your mattress or how late you stayed up, but something much simpler? Something you might be overlooking every single morning. Today, we're diving into something I call the dehydration drain. It's that sneaky habit of starting our day already parched without even realizing it. You see, after hours of sleep, our bodies are naturally low on fluids. And when we don't replenish that right away, it affects everything. We need water for clear thinking, for keeping those joints from feeling stiff, and most importantly, for maintaining our energy levels throughout the day. Ignoring this can leave us feeling sluggish and foggy, which certainly doesn't help us enjoy our retirement years to the fullest, does it? It really impacts our comfort and overall well-being. My good friend Arthur used to grumble about feeling completely wiped out by 10 a.m. Said his brain felt like mush. Then he started keeping a simple glass of water on his nightstand and taking a few sips the moment his feet hit the floor. He even carries a small water bottle now when he goes for his walks. He told me just last week it made a world of difference. In this video, we'll explore exactly why morning hydration is so critical and share simple tips to make it a habit. Hello there, by the way, it's good to be chatting with you today. If you find this little chat helpful, please give the video a thumbs up. It really helps others find it too. And don't forget to subscribe if you'd like more tips like this for living well in our golden years. You know, it's funny how we think plopping down in front of the telly for hours on end is the best way to relax. Sometimes a good show is just the ticket, of course. But often, especially if we're just passively absorbing stressful news reports one after another, or endlessly scrolling through what everyone else seems to be doing online, it can actually do the opposite. It doesn't recharge us, it drains our batteries. Think about it. Staring at that bright screen can really tire out your eyes, can't it? And just sitting still for so long often makes us feel more sluggish afterwards, not rested and ready to go. It's a bit of a trap, this passive pastime. My neighbor Eleanor, she's a dear, she sort of discovered this herself. She used to have the news channel droning on practically all day long, and honestly, she always seemed a bit weary from it all. Then she made a change. She decided to cut back significantly on the constant news and started spending more of that time tending to her lovely window boxes instead. You should see them, they're beautiful. And the change in her was quite noticeable too. She just seemed brighter, had more pep in her step. It wasn't about giving up television entirely, not at all, just breaking that habit of hours spent passively staring. So, maybe just take a moment to consider if you're spending a bit too much time just looking at a screen without really engaging. Could you perhaps swap just an hour of that passive viewing for something else? Maybe put on the radio or listen to some favorite music from years gone by. Work on a simple crossword or a jigsaw puzzle. Or how about picking up the phone for a nice chat with a friend or family member you haven't spoken to in a little while? Setting these small limits for ourselves and finding more active, yet still gentle, ways to spend our downtime can really help keep our spirits and our energy levels up. It's worth a try, don't you think? Alright, let's talk about something that sneaks up on many of us, getting our sleep schedule all scrambled up. Are you finding yourself nodding off for long stretches in the afternoon some days, only to be staring at the ceiling at 2 in the morning? Or maybe your bedtime wanders all over the clock, depending on how you feel. It might seem harmless, just catching up on rest when you can, but it can really throw your system out of whack. Take my neighbor Frank, for example. He's a lovely fellow, about 75 now. He used to be the king of the long, unpredictable nap. Whenever tiredness hit, down he'd go for an hour or two. But the funny thing was, he often felt groggy even after these naps, and then he'd toss and turn at night. He just couldn't seem to get into a proper sleep rhythm. You see, our bodies have this marvelous internal clock, sometimes called the circadian rhythm. It thrives on regularity. Going to bed and waking up around the same time each day helps keep this clock running smoothly, managing our natural energy cycles. When we constantly change those times or rely on long, irregular naps, it's like trying to set a watch that keeps slipping. Our body gets confused about when it's supposed to be alert and when it's time to rest. This often leads to that frustrating cycle, feeling tired and sluggish during the day, but then finding it hard to fall asleep or stay asleep at night. What really turned things around for Frank was making a conscious effort to establish a more consistent routine. He decided on a reasonable bedtime and wake-up time and really tried to stick to it, yes, even on weekends mostly. He also created a little wind-down ritual before bed, nothing fancy, maybe reading for half an hour or listening to some calming music. He found it signaled to his body that it was time to prepare for sleep. Now, Frank says he feels much more consistently energetic throughout the day. If he does feel the need for a nap, he keeps it short, maybe just 20 minutes or so, a quick power rest, not a deep sleep session that interferes with his night. So, the simple advice here is this: try your best to go to bed and wake up around the same times each day. Create a relaxing pre-sleep routine to help you unwind. It might take a little getting used to, but getting your body clock back on track can make a huge difference in how rested and energetic you feel. Alright, let's talk about something many of us wrestle with, that afternoon energy dip and what we reach for. Think about my bridge partner, Martha. Lovely lady, sharp as a tack, but come 3 o'clock, she used to hit a wall. For years, her solution was a cup of tea and a couple of her favorite biscuits. She'd get a little burst of energy, sure, but about an hour later, she'd be yawning and complaining she felt completely drained, almost foggy. This is that classic sugary snack slump. We reach for those biscuits or maybe a slice of cake, or even some processed snacks because they promise a quick fix, a fast energy boost. And they do deliver for a moment, but the problem is what comes after. That quick spike in blood sugar is almost always followed by a crash, leaving us feeling even more tired and sluggish than before we had the snack. These foods often lack the real nutrients our bodies need, like fiber or protein, to sustain energy levels. They're like putting poor fuel in a car. It might run for a bit, but not very well, and it can cause problems down the line, like contributing to inflammation or making weight management trickier, which also impacts our vitality. Martha finally decided to experiment. She swapped her afternoon biscuits for a crisp apple and a small piece of cheese. She admitted it took some getting used to, but she stuck with it. Now, she swears she sails right through the afternoon without that slump. She feels she has steady energy right up until dinner. So, maybe take a look at your own habits. When you feel that dip, what do you reach for? Instead of sugary cereal in the morning, maybe try some hearty oatmeal topped with fruit. Instead of reaching for the biscuit tin mid-afternoon, perhaps try a small handful of nuts, some plain yogurt, or a piece of fruit like Martha. It's about giving our bodies the kind of steady, reliable fuel they need to keep us going strong, not just a quick sugar rush that fades too fast. Now, let's talk about something I call the stillness stalemate. It happens when we forget about gentle movement throughout the day, maybe getting a bit too comfortable in our favorite chair. It feels a bit backwards, I know, but staying still for too long, maybe sitting for hours watching television or reading, it doesn't really rest you in the way you might think. It actually allows your muscles to get stiff, your circulation slows right down, and it definitely contributes to that overall feeling of fatigue we sometimes battle. Ignoring even light activity can make simple tasks, like reaching for something on a high shelf or bending down, feel much harder than they need to. The good news is, we don't need to suddenly start training for a race or lifting heavy weights. Heavens, no. Just keeping the body gently moving is incredibly important for keeping everything working smoothly as we get older. It gets the blood flowing and, believe it or not, often gives you energy rather than taking it away. Take someone like my old workmate, George. He's nearing 80 now, a good chap. For the longest time, mornings were just dreadful for him. He'd wake up feeling so incredibly stiff, like every joint was creaking and complaining loudly. He just put it down to age, accepted it as his new normal. He spent most of his time sitting, thinking he needed to conserve what little energy he felt he had. Didn't want to overdo it, you see, but then he decided to try something tiny, almost insignificant it seemed. Before his first cup of coffee each morning, he started doing just 5 minutes of simple, gentle stretches. Nothing strenuous, just reaching up, maybe a few gentle twists. And you know what? He told me, quite amazed, that it completely changed how he felt getting out of bed. He said it just loosened him up enough to make getting going so much easier. So, the advice here is wonderfully simple. Find small ways to weave movement into your day. Maybe stand up and walk around the room during the television advert breaks. Do some gentle shoulder rolls or ankle circles while the kettle boils for your tea. Or perhaps consider a short stroll down the path and back if the weather's behaving itself. Even simple chair exercises make a difference. Every little bit helps keep your body from seizing up and keeps your energy levels that bit more stable. Don't let yourself get stuck in that stillness stalemate, keep things moving gently. So, we've talked about 5 common things that might be quietly draining your get up and go. It's easy to feel overwhelmed thinking you need a massive health overhaul, isn't it? But honestly, it's often the little things, day in and day out, that make the biggest difference. Ignoring small energy drains, like not drinking enough water or sitting for too long, really adds up. It can leave us feeling sluggish, unable to enjoy our days fully. Take my neighbor, Betty, she's 72. Always tired by lunchtime. Turns out, she was only having a couple of cups of tea all morning. She started keeping a water bottle handy, just sipping throughout the day. That one simple swap gave her a noticeable boost. Maybe try replacing just one sugary drink or cuppa with a glass of water today and see how you feel. Sometimes we don't even realize we're doing these things. Awareness is half the battle. You can't change a habit if you don't notice it first. Consider Arthur, 79. He felt groggy but thought he slept fine. His daughter pointed out he was watching the telly right up until bedtime, often dozing off in his chair first. He hadn't connected his inconsistent routine and all that screen time with his poor energy levels. Why not try keeping a little note for a day? Just jot down when you feel tired and what you were doing. You might spot a pattern. Maybe it's after that big lunch or scrolling on your tablet late at night. Just knowing gives you the power to make a small tweak, like setting a regular time to switch off screens before settling down for the night. And please remember, looking after yourself isn't selfish, especially now. It's absolutely essential. For years, maybe we put everyone else first. But if we run ourselves into the ground, we've got nothing left to give, not to our families, our hobbies, or even ourselves. My friend Margaret, 68, used to push through exhaustion to look after her grandkids, skipping her own rest. She just ended up feeling drained and snappy. She learned to schedule just 20 minutes for herself after lunch, a quiet sit-down. It felt strange at first, but now she has more energy and patience for everyone. So, find one small way to prioritize your energy each day. Maybe it's a short walk instead of another hour on the sofa. These little adjustments truly add up to a big difference in how vibrant and energetic you feel each day. It's about making these golden years really shine. Well now, that brings us to the end of our little chat today. Remember, finding that extra bit of energy doesn't always mean making huge changes. It's often the small, consistent things that add up. Taking that short walk, choosing water over soda, getting enough sleep. These are the building blocks for feeling more vibrant. I know when I started focusing on just getting outside for 10 minutes after lunch, rain or shine, it made a surprising difference to my afternoon slump. It wasn't much, but it was a start, and that's what matters. We're all figuring this out together, aren't we? This journey of aging well is unique for each of us, but sharing what works can be so helpful. Maybe you have a simple trick that boosts your energy levels. Please, do share it in the comments below. I love reading your ideas, and goodness knows, your tip might be just the thing someone else needs to hear today. It really helps build a supportive little community right here, focusing on our senior health and staying active. It's truly about making our senior living experience as rich and healthy as possible. It's not about turning back the clock, heavens no, but about enjoying the time we have with vitality. Adopting healthy habits, even one at a time, contributes so much to a fulfilling retirement. I remember feeling quite overwhelmed when I first retired, thinking about how to structure my days, but focusing on these little bits of self-care. These ways to stay active and maintain a healthy lifestyle really gave me purpose. It's all part of aging well and making sure we retire well, with energy to enjoy it all. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like more chats like this one. Until next time, take good care.